Animated films are often seen as something that is made specifically for kids, and therefore, they are the only ones who can ever enjoy them. And to some degree, that's true. Kids are the target audience for a lot of these films. But that doesn't mean that they're the only ones who can enjoy them. As a matter of fact, did you know that some of the highest grossing films ever are animated? Don't believe me? Well, I promise that by the end of this video, you will. Now sit back and relax as I present to you the top 10 highest grossing animated films of all time. And if you want to test your knowledge on all things animated, stick around till the end of the video to answer one question that only the biggest animation fans can answer. Now without further ado, let's get right to it. In the 10th spot, we've got Zootopia, a 2016 film that made slightly over $1 billion at the worldwide box office. This Disney film follows the exploits of Judy Hopps, a female bunny from a carrot farm with big dreams of becoming a police officer. After graduating at the top of her class, congrats to her by the way, Judy learns that the big city of Zootopia is not at all what she expected. Crime bosses, corruption, surprise villains, and yes, a few hustles here and there lie at the heart of this film. Next up is Finding Dory at $1.02 billion. This film might not have won an Oscar like its predecessor, but that doesn't make it any less good. In this film, we follow Dory, Marlin, and Nemo, as the former attempts to find her parents and the other two try to find her. Just like Finding Nemo, this story tugs at the heartstrings while revealing the majesty of the ocean. Placing at number 8 on this list is 2017's Despicable Me 3, grossing over $1.03 billion worldwide. In this addition to the Despicable Me franchise, Gru meets his long-lost twin brother, Drew. These two are the very definition of opposing personalities, like night and day. We follow these two as they attempt to retrieve the largest diamond in the world and grow closer as brothers. Coming in at number 7, making over $1.06 billion in gross sales worldwide, is Toy Story 3. Taking place several years after the events of Toy Story 2, we've got an adolescent Andy who's shipping off to college any day now. After realizing that there's no room for them in Andy's life anymore, the toys decide to send themselves to Sunnyside Daycare, a wonderful place where toys can be toys. Or isn't? Watch this heartbreaking tale unfold as you're reminded of all the toys you've ever loved and where they are now. Up next is the latest Toy Story film, which made over $1.07 billion across the globe, Toy Story 4. This heartwarming tale starts with Woody struggling to fit into his new role as Bonnie's toy. One thing leads to another and Woody goes missing. After a few twists and turns and what is simply a sweet reunion, Woody learns that there's more to a toy's life than being there for their kid. In the 5th spot, we've got Minions, a film that made over $1.15 billion in gross sales at the worldwide box office. In this movie, we get a deep dive into the history of the Minions and how they met Gru. 3 little minions set off into the world to find the most diabolical, the most heinous, the most despicable boss that they can find for their clan to serve. They eventually find one, but the question is, can they keep her? Crazy antics, explosions, and a made-up language are what make this film what it is. Coming in at number 4 is 2018's The Incredibles 2, which grossed over $1.24 billion worldwide. Continuing the story of the first film, Incredibles 2 sends Elastigirl out to be a superhero and show the world that supers aren't that bad. Together with a rather well-off level of superheroes, she works to stop the supervillain Screenslaver from carrying out his sinister schemes. Next up is Frozen, the highest grossing animated film for years, until it was kicked out of the position in 2019. Frozen is about the kingdom of Arendelle and its oldest princess, Elsa. With her parents gone, Elsa has to take on the role of queen, whilst trying to keep her magical ice powers a secret from everyone, including her very own sister, Anna. Magical trolls, talking snowmen, and even a hit song? Damn, no wonder this film won an Oscar. Sticking with the Frozen franchise, in second place we've got Frozen 2. As Elsa tries her best as queen, does her best not to mess it all up, she hears a strange voice that eventually leads her to the enchanted forest, home of the Northuldra people. As she ventures deeper and deeper into the forest, she discovers more, not only about herself, but about Arendelle's past with the Northuldrans. And in first place, we've got The Lion King. Not the 1994 version, but the much more recent 2019 version. It grossed over $1.6 billion at the worldwide box office, making it the highest grossing animated film of all time. Based on the Shakespearean tragedy Hamlet, The Lion King follows young cub Simba as he transitions from an overly eager kid to an overly carefree adult, and finally to the king we always knew he could be. Betrayals, death, a touch of romance, and a few good songs are at the heart of this Disney classic. Okay, we have reached the end of our video. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. So it is now time for this video's animation quiz. One simple question that only the most hardcore animation fan can answer. You ready? Let's go. Your question is, what film was the highest grossing animated film for the longest amount of time? You got that? Okay, that's your question. Be sure to post your answers in the comment section right down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This has been Z Zypher. Till next time.